Hello then. So out and about review today. I'm at the Little Swift in Margate. So to review Putty 2023 on draft and in can. So hopefully they've got the cans. They said they had. So we're just going to do like a keg versus can of Putty for this year and see how we get on. See you in there.
First pour of Putty day. One beer reviews. There we go.
Excellent.
There you go, Jack.
Nice one. Cheers.
Cheers.
Right, gonna go upstairs.
Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to another beer review. So it's the annual release of Putty from Verdant Brewing Company down in Cornwall. Here's the 2023 edition. So a 440ml can then. Putty, it's probably one of the biggest, if you're into your hype beers, one of the highlights of the year here in the UK. Reviewed this many times in previous years, of course. This one's going to be a little bit different, of course. So I've got the can and I've actually got the draft. So I'm doing a side by side just to see how the beer is. And this is uber fresh. This was only canned on the 17th of January, and here's opening day, lunchtime of the 20th of January 2023. So let's get into it then. So Putty is a double IPA, then 8% ABV. It's got a Zaka, Galaxy and Mosaic hops in this one, or hot stroke cold side. I guess that's both. And then it has obviously water, barley, wheat, oats, hops and yeast, hops I've just mentioned. So these guys, and it's actually guile number 536/7. So I don't know if this is the 7th edition of Putty, but I do remember having it, as I've said before, the first time they released it. I think it was in 2017, so maybe wrong there. Anyway, let's crack the can. Here's a look at the draft version then. It's hazy, almost like slightly kind of almost creamy look to it. I'm here at the Little Swift in Margate, of course, as I've just said outside. Just had a chat with Steve. As you saw, he posted, poured the beer, posted the beer. He posted it, I'll post it. Anyway, there's the can. Let's crack it open then. So this is the first of 24 cans that he sold. Got to strike while the iron's hot. So pour in the glass then. We're going to go down. I want to create a little bit of a head there, so I'm going to just straighten the glass slightly to one side, not down the middle. We'll leave it like that for now because I want to get any aromas then and get my big fat nose down into the glass and see what we get going on there. So we'll let that breathe just for a sec. We'll give the draft version a bit of a smell. Very creamy, almost like a chicken stock. I hope the light's okay. I've opened the windows, so we've got the sea just the other side of camera, so it's quite one of them bright sunny days. I've had about 3 or 4 days of real heavy frost, but no snow fortunately, so let's get a nose on the draft version then. I mean, this is uber fresh. One of many venues around the country. I think there's 2 in Kent, three, maybe 4. There's 4. I think there's 4 venues in Kent. There's 1 in Canterbury, 1 here in Margate. I think there's 2 in Tunbridge. My nose is actually quite cold at the moment, so it's. So yeah, so you're getting on the draft more of a kind of, there's a slight dankness to it, as you kind of would expect. It's not bursting out any kind of oniony, garlicky moves or anything like that. Dank. is the word I'd use. A light citrus dank. Right, so here's the can. See what we get out of this one. Very similar. I mean, obviously they're both chilled, just straight out of the fridge. I don't know, 4 or 5 degrees or so. Not quite so much on the dankness on the can, but as I say, it's straight out of the fridge. Interesting. So I'm going to give the draft a taste first, see what we get out of this. So cheers and up the putt, as they say. My first beer for 2 weeks as well, so I've timed that pretty good. So it's a fresh palate, first beer of the day as well. Very smooth, almost creamy mouthfeel. Lovely citrusy notes. It's got it's like there's a slight kind of sweet, almost like fruit pastel edge to it. But you'd never think that that is an 8% beer. It's ridiculous. Trying to work out if there's any kind of astringency to it, being a beer so young. I think there is a slight edge there, considering it's like, what, 3 days old? I don't know when they actually kegged the beers, maybe the same day as they canned, I don't know what the deal is there. Either way, it's uber fresh on draft, and this will keep for a while. There is a slight undertone of astringency there, but it's very minimal. Which is always a good thing. But it's not very often I get to try this on draft, so I think predominantly I've only had it in can. I think perhaps the only time I've had it on draft was Hop City in 2017, and it was voted beer of the festival that year at the Refectory up in Leeds. So yeah, so having it on draft like 4 miles from my house is ridiculous. We'll come back to that. Take a bit of a breather. Is there any kind of difference in colour? Not really. Not really. It's looking very much on the par with the same lighting, etc., same glass. So there's no difference there. So it's almost one of them beers that, because it is cold and there is a lot going on in this beer, it always reminds me of like a stout, where it needs to warm up a little bit. Let's go in for the can then, so cheers. Okay, wow. There is a difference. It's very subtle. It's almost like the body is, it's obviously, it must be a temperature thing or whatever the deal is. The body is a lot more, well, I say a lot more, it's slightly, it comes across, it's probably in my head or my palate, slightly kind of bolder, thicker, a little bit more astringency there. Still uber fresh. So flavour notes, get into the body of things. It's like a low end, sorry, a mid-range, medium, upper end, medium body, both beers, draft and can. So flavours. So pale stone fruits in this. Pineapple, mango, quite a bit of mango. It works for this quite well. A slight kind of dryness coming through. Almost like it's coming across like and there is like a resiny kind of feel residual on the palate as well. Intermingled with that kind of dankness thing going on there. It's almost that there is a residual booziness to it. That's the only kind of indication I'm getting when you're actually drinking it and the beer's in your mouth and swirling it around or anything like that. Or on the nose, you're not getting any of that alcohol. Papaya comes through really well in this. Maybe a touch of lime zest. Again, this is 3 days in the can. I have had other years, notably 2021, where during lockdown sort of time, or one of them, whatever it was, that I was quite fortunate enough to be able to get a few cans of this, and I had one straight away, 1 2 weeks later, and I spaced them out 2 weeks, going, just to see if there's any difference, because it was really astringent. I found it really astringent in 2021. We're now in 2023. Last year's was nowhere near astringent. This year it is not astringent. It's there. It's minimal. But that's at this temperature. That's from this can, and that's from this palate. So them 3 factors could vary on you when you try it. Whether you've had beers before this beer, or it's your first beer, or something like that, I don't know, whatever. Either way, ridiculously easy drinking. I'm going to see if I can get another can to take home and maybe review it in, say, 4 weeks or so, something like that, just to see if there's any change. Because I noticed in 2021 that the real changes took part round about 4 weeks out. So that sometimes all this drink fresh business is like, well, and I even say out in the can, drink fresh, hops fade fast, and then best before the 17th of July of 2023. So I'll let you make your own mind up about that one. But yeah, overall, it was a very, very, very tasty beer. It's one of the good beers that they do. Personally, as I've said last year, I think they have produced even better double IPAs that I've had in the past. There's 1 or 2 down in the fridge that I might purchase and take back with me, just to see what they're about. Maybe try and remember this draft v can review and say yay or nay, whatever. There's a whole lot of hype around this, so if you get to try it, let me know your thoughts and opinions. They are very good. It's a very good beer. I'm not going to lie. So that's kind of a rough review. As I say, I'll do another review in about 3 or 4 weeks of the can at home settings, and I'm always thinking that someone's going to come upstairs and customers. So I'm like, but yeah, I'm just sitting out looking over the sea at the moment. So, but yeah. Anyway, let me know if you've had these before. Thanks for watching then, and have a good weekend whenever you watch this. And I'll see you on the next review. Cheers.